everyone. How are you? I hope you are staying safe and healthy. I miss you guys so much. It's crazy that we are on week 4 of e-learning. It's been a month since I have not had you in my science class. Last week, we ended reproduction and started genetics, which is our last unit for 8th grade science. And I wanted to kind of go more into detail about the basic terms and concepts that I had you do on your assignments last week, because if you don't understand those, it's going to be harder to go through this unit further and further. Okay, so let's start with Gregor Mendel. Okay, so Gregor Mendel is known as the father of genetics. He is the one that started it all. In 1865, he was an Augustinian monk, and he grew thousands of garden pea plants. And he started noticing that these pea plants had all different shapes and sizes and colors. And that kind of all got him curious of, what's going on here? Why aren't they all looking the same? These are plants. So you decided to breed them. Fertilization. So fertilization is taking the male sex cell, the sperm, and combining it with the female sex cell, the egg, and then you get an offspring that looks genetically different from the parents. Mixed genes, think. So the pollen is the male sex cell. Put it in the stamen where the eggs are, the female sex cell, and then we've got new little baby pea plants. So when those baby pea plants started to grow and get a little bit older and mature, excuse me, he noticed, if you look over here, first, like different positions of the flower. Some were up at the top, some were on the side. The lengths were all different of the stems. Some were tall and short. The seed shape we have round and wrinkled. The colors differed as well. Some are green, some are yellow, and even the seed coat color around it differed. The pods, we've all seen a pea pod, which contains the peas. Some were like wrinkly, pinched, smooth, and then even the different colors. So he was really curious of why they all looked different. He started breeding more and more, and he noticed that some traits, so like characteristics, skipped generations, and then they came back later. So he's really, really curious of why this is all happening. Okay, before we talk more about genetics, let's kind of rewind back to reproduction. We learned about chromosomes, which are located in the nucleus of a cell. So every cell has a nucleus. Humans have 46 or 23 pairs. And on the chromosomes, we've got hundreds and thousands of alleles, or genes, we want to call them. So you inherit one allele from mom and one allele from dad through fertilization, and together they make a gene which gives you your traits, the way you look. So if we look a little bit here, so let's look at this first chromosome right here. When I have my cursor on, let's focus on the blue and brown alleles. So let's say mom gave you the allele for blue eyes. So right there. And then dad gave you an allele for brown eyes. So together, we're going to go more into what would that code for? Would you most likely have brown eyes, or would you have blue eyes? If we look at the middle one here, this is an allele for brown and another allele for brown. And then allele for blue and another allele for blue. So both parents had blue eyes. Okay, so phenotype. I love the PH in there. Physical trait description. So phenotype, that's like describing yourself. Like I have blonde hair, I'm taller. If you have freckles. So you use actual words to describe your characteristics. So I say, give me your phenotype for hair, you tell me your hair color. Genotypes are kind of what we use to put on each allele. So we give a trait a letter, and then the two letters, which we get from the alleles, they code for a certain trait. So like big B, little b, big T, little t. So each of those would be allele. One allele would be a big B, the other allele from the other parent would be a little b. Big T, big P, little k, etc. Okay, dominance. So dominance is the stronger allele. This will always hide other traits. It will always win. We will show that by a capital letter. So if we look at the genotype below, so there's two alleles, we put a letter on it. The capital A would be the dominant allele. It would hide that smaller allele. Last but not least is the recessive trait. This is the weaker allele. And it will only show that trait if there are two of those recessive weaker alleles. So there would have to be two lower cases to possess that trait. In that case, we show a lowercase letter. Hence, that's why the little a is highlighted.